All right, moving right along. The fact remains, no matter who's to blame, and we covered this slightly on both of the last two segments. No matter what you believe is causing the food shortages, the resource shortages, and the global famine come in, it has been elevated to global famine, and now government like officials like Biden, the French foreign minister, UN representatives and stuff are calling it a fucking famine. There's a depression coming if we don't pull our heads out of our ass. And it might even happen whether we pull our heads out of our asses now. So you might want to stock up on some emergency seeds. I got to go down and check the mailroom here after I'm done recording this to get my books on what I could eat around here that I could just pick up out of the ground. Like mushrooms and forageables and edibles and stuff like that, wild edibles from here, from all the way from southern Canada all the way to the Long Island Sound, because it is what it is, and you might need to fucking start foraging for some food sometimes to supplement your food gear. You might have to be growing some food sometimes to supplement your food gear. I mean, you might want, if you live in an apartment, you might want to figure out how to like put a food growing box on the outside of your window and grow some fucking vegetables or something. You're gonna have to address it because it at this point, because of the lockdowns and stuff, I think it's fucking inevitable. But you never know. You never fucking know. I could be wrong. You know, I'm human. I could be wrong. I'll admit I could be wrong. It's the fool that knows himself to be a wise man. It's a wise man that knows himself to be a fool. You know, it is what it is. Let's get into this. French foreign minister warns of global famine. Jean-Yves Le Drian says the EU must rapidly get its grips with the threat. So this might be more of a threat to EU than it is to the United States, considering we have separate and some self-contained food systems and stuff, but we'll see how that works. France's foreign affairs ministers, Jean-Yves Le Drian, said that the EU must get to grips with the prospect that the war in Ukraine could prompt an extreme serious global food crisis. Russia and Ukraine are both gigantic exporters of grain, and half of Africa's wheat imports come from the two countries, while global food commodity prices have already surged as a result of the conflict. Ukraine's food experts have all but ceased the capacity to plant and harvest food this year and threatened by the war. But why does Africa need to buy the grain from these two countries? Why can't Africa grow the grain in their own country? Well, that's right, because under your global list Hunger Game food system, trade agreements between this country will provide X, Y, and Z, and you grow a whole bunch of tea. Fuck. Like, why should we grow X for them so they can grow tea for us when we can just grow tea for us and they can grow X for them? Much better system. We must take charge of this new situation quickly, Le Drian said when arriving at a meeting of the EU foreign ministers in Brussels Monday, but he gave few details about what the EU should do. Barr working closely with international agencies, partners, and NGOs. It's not sanctions that are making the global food security malfunction. Actually, it is sanctions. The sanctions are part of the war. I mean, Anyway, sanctions are an act of economic warfare against a country engaged in literal active warfare. Because they aren't any sanctions on food, it's the war that's providing problematic that will probably bring. There's no sanction on wheat. I thought we ended all imports. Wheat's an import, right? You're importing wheat from Russia. You're importing wheat. It's We see the consequences of war, the impossibilities of harvesting and sowing, of exporting, he added, thanks to Ukraine. EU agriculture ministers are meeting Monday to align their response to the crisis, while the European Commission is hosting a major conference on humanitarianism this week that will also touch food security. It's going to get bad. I hope you guys are preparing. I hope you guys have been listening. I hope you can get maybe save up like $1,200. You can get a 25-year supply of or 6-month supply of food for emergency food stores. You can buy emergency food seeds. You can grow your own food. We've been mentioning these things. You can learn what you can eat around the wild, and you can harvest and forage and supplement your food with wild food. Do you know there's this mushroom? I forget what it's called. I should have the book. If the book comes in by then, I'll put a picture up here. But my biology teacher in college used to bring it in all the time, and he used to fry it up and shit. It tastes like fucking steak. It was fucking delicious, and it's just out there for you to eat. It's just out there for you to go grab and use for dinner. It's just out there. You know, vegans, you want a steak alternative? Boom, steak alternative, vegan. It's just out there for you to get. It just grows on your trees in certain areas. It just grows. I mean, at least up here in the northeast, the northwest, no, northeast, northwest. Okay, northwest, northeast, southeast, southwest. You have your own plants like this. Like there's a Tim who lives in the West Virginia, Maryland area, and they got this like pawpaw plant that could use. uh, we have to start living with nature again, and not acting like we're separate from nature, and that we can like live like the Hunger Games and survive, because we can't. It's time for us to start providing our own foods again. It's time for us to think about how to provide our own needs again. I mean, water's easy. You could go to mostly any fucking fresh water source, scoop that bitch up, boil away or filter out impurities. Especially if it's a running river water. You might want to test it for arsenic. So I mean, getting water testing kit is also another good idea. But if the town was already using it for a water source, if society collapses or whatnot, you can easily go down and boil that water. It's not the ideal solution, but it's easier to get in most cases. I mean, like I said, Qatar, they don't have any fresh water sources, and they have to import. And if they stop the ability to import or can't determine salination, I doubt they're going to survive. I mean, I guess they could start terraforming the desert and creating lakes, man-made lakes and stuff, and try and bring fresh water back to the region, try and restore life to the sand and soil. But that's a whole nother fucking process. I wanted to cover this. I'm going to keep covering this until it's no longer an issue in the world, because I want you inglorious bastards and magnificent bitches to survive. So when this leftist globalist mess ultimately falls apart, establishment globalist mess, because I don't want to really call it leftist, because it's not just the left, but this establishment global crap, when it falls the fuck apart, I want you alive and inevitably there to help us rebuild it and put something in place that we can all agree to want to protect and want to live in, and something that serves us, our freedoms, and our fucking children. I'm just fucking saying. Thank you for checking out this clip of my Thought of the Day podcast. You can catch this podcast every Tuesday through Friday at that'sonpoint.info by 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because that's how winning is done. New clips go out daily, and we can't do this without you, so we appreciate your support. With that being said, consider joining for $5 a month, and you get early access to the uncensored version of this, early access to our weekly That's On Point podcast, and access to exclusive content only for members. All the money that we receive is going to go funnel back into this to hire more journalists and do more things for you guys, because that's how winning is done. It really is. We got a merch store and stuff. You can help there, and if you can't help via money, you can always just leave a comment, and share this out there, because that helps us more than you can immensely know. That's the best way to help. Just leave a comment, and share. And if you're listening to us, leave a review. Leave a good review. Help us boost us in the podcast ratings and get us up there, because that's how winning is done. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.